Welcome to Ditch Digger CEO, the show where we introduce you to change makers and visionaries who are shaping the future of business and innovation. Today, we are thrilled to have an all-star guest who is not just an entrepreneur, but a true game changer. Pierre Dubuc, co-founder and CEO of OpenClassrooms, has been transforming the world of education by making it accessible and career-oriented for everyone. His story is one of resilience, innovation, and a relentless pursuit to bridge the gap between education and employment. Let's dive into Pierre's incredible journey from starting a business in middle school to placing thousands of students directly into the workforce.
All right, welcome to Ditch Digger CEO today, Chris. Boy, we got an all-star on again. You hit it big again, man. Landing this dude. I appreciate you working hard to get Pierre on. But Pierre Dubuc, we're excited to talk to you about everything you're doing. You're an amazing young entrepreneur, and you're changing the world. And that's what we want. We want people that are game changers in this world of entrepreneurship, and you're one of those. So, Pierre, welcome to Ditch Digger CEO today, brother.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, you know what? We've had some great entrepreneurs on our podcast, and we're looking for people that really are out to change the way things have been done in the past. People that are top 1% in their industry, and that probably started with little. And we know a little bit about your story, but we're here today to hear a lot more about it. Okay, so let's start with a little bit about you. Where do you live? What kind of family life you got? You got a wife and kids or anything? For a young guy like you, tell us a little about yourself first.
Yeah, that sounds good. So I'm 35. I grew up in France, moved to the States a few years ago to expand business. I'm an engineer by training. In telecommunication, I didn't really do anything around that, to be honest, but I started my business during my studies with my co-founder, created online courses in school, the courses I wished I had. So this is how it really got started. It was not a business. It was just kind of a hobby, if you will. Did it for free to help some friends. And then from there, it expanded into something much bigger. I do have a partner. I do not have any kids, many nieces and nephews. So have this chance and to have access to that part of the family. And I live in New York City.
All right. Okay. So in business, you had an original partner. You had a co-founder.
That's right. We're two founders. I'm the CEO. My business partner is still very involved with the company around like product innovation, AI. He was actually the one writing the first courses we published on the platform. So he is one of our key teachers, if you will.
Nice. What's his name?
Matthew. Yeah.
All right. And so this started kind of how long ago? I mean, how long did this hobby start out?
Man, long time ago, he started actually the very first course in 1999. So it was more than 20 years ago. We were in middle school. And at the age of like 13 and 11, we started like writing up courses which we had and couldn't find back then. The internet back then was very different. It's resources were very scarce. So we couldn't find any online content on subjects we were interested in, wanted to learn coding. Couldn't really find much online back then. And then we started creating the first online courses. He published the first one in 1999. And then I started helping him in 2001. And we did that parallel to our studies for many years in middle school, in high school, in college. Everything was for free. So we just built great online courses on coding at first, and then it expanded. It became one of the reference platforms to learn coding. During our studies, we were like, oh, that's cool. Actually, my friends in college are not going to lectures in my college, but are using our courses to learn coding and they prefer it. So I'm like, oh, there's something going on here. And essentially from there, we shifted and build a venture-backed company, startup company, and made it made it a full-time job.
Okay. So was the name Open Classrooms back then also?
It was not actually. The very first name we changed about 10 years ago. The very first name was, um, it was in French. It was Site du Zéro. It meant like it were a website where you learn from scratch, from zero. So it was like beginners classes essentially. And then we switched the brand 10 years ago to Open Classrooms. So we had that kind of free online community that's our story that we built, since middle school, and then it kind of became later on business that Open Classrooms today.
Wow. That's okay. So when did you guys come to America? When did you,
I
when did you
moved
arrive in America?
I moved 3-4 years ago.
Okay. And and what did you find? You thought that it'd be a better place to grow, or tell us why you chose America to come to.
Yeah, I mean, we already had like some business going on in the States with employers. We were also backed by US investors, so we had already kind of a footprint. But I wanted to expand a little bit more the US part of the business. And to do that, I thought it would make sense for one of the two founders to be located in the States and really be like breathing and walking every day in the market. I was pretty excited by that. I think there's a huge opportunity in the States because obviously, higher education has, let's say, its own challenges in every market, but student debt, connection to jobs, or the lack of connections to jobs, and the general like return over investment of colleges right now in America can be discussed. And at the same time, you have massive needs from employers in terms of upskilling and reskilling, and they struggle to find the right talent with the right skills. And essentially we're thinking of like, how can we bridge that gap, right?
Sure.
And create more socioeconomic opportunities for people, and also fulfill employers' needs at the same time. So this is what we're about.
So I want to just go back for a minute, a few minutes here, and talk about this picture of you middle schoolers. Okay, you know these young kids, right? That they come up with this idea, start playing with this hobby, and then it turns into a business. And you came in 2001. So were you in high school still, or how old were you then?
2001, I was in middle school. And yeah, we started doing that online. So I was like 11, 12. So it was
That's
very
awesome.
early days. Yeah, and we learned like coding online, and yeah, we created that platform. I mean, it was not a business back then, right? So
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
expect something super fancy. It was pretty basic, but it was where we started.
It was still very entrepreneurial to think that there's
Yeah.
something there, right? Even as a kid playing with this and as a hobby,
Yeah,
really.
definitely. There was definitely already like this idea of creating something, crafting something new that could be useful for others.
And did you guys see a weakness basically, even at that age? Did you see a weakness in the education system back then, or tell us why you thought there's a need?
To be honest, I mean, back then I would not have been able to like express it that way, but like the way I would have expressed it is like in school, I was not really like happy about the classes I had. So to me, like the classes I had access to were not really the right ones. So this is how we like lived it, if you will. Now I can elaborate on like higher education and colleges and the market and so on. But back then it was pretty basic and based on our own experience. That means really like, yeah, we didn't really have access to the content we wanted, or it was like too obscure or too technical. And for kids like us, we didn't really understand it. It was not like accessible. So we wanted to build something that was more accessible.
That's amazing. And then when we think about this, how old was your partner Matthew, or the founder?
He was 13 when he started. Is 3 years older than I am.
So he was kind of an old guy then. He
He
was
was
old,
an old guy, yeah.
lots of crazy wisdom that you didn't have 2 years behind him.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Okay, so when you think about when you went into high school with this, and when did it go from a hobby to actually that something that you said, boy, you guys said, man, this could be a real business.
Yeah, I think that really happened in like 2012, 2013. So at that time, we already had kind of a small business out of it, but it was still kind of a mom and pop's business. Not that it's bad, but like generally speaking, very small scale, and we didn't really have like a huge ambition behind it. And then there were a couple of factors that changed that. There was a shift in the market at this time. We started seeing online courses popping up. There was this wave of what we call MOOCs, massive open online courses, with the creation of new platforms like Coursera or edX and many others. And it felt like in the early 2000s on the internet, it felt like we were kind of the only ones, or very few platforms would offer online courses. And suddenly you would see like all of those big universities starting offering online courses for free. And we're like, oh, now we're not the only one anymore. And that created a shift in the market, much more usage, and felt like, actually a market is being created. Because when you're the only person in the market, that can be a good thing, but it also kind of means that there's no market.
Right.
So we saw that as an opportunity, and we felt we had like years of experience in building great online courses, and we could like go one step beyond and create an online school that was kind of a non-traditional college, if you will. So go a little bit further in our model and shift into a more like ambitious project. So this is when we changed the brand, and we changed also the business model. And then we started creating, online degree programs leading to jobs with this intent and this mission of the company, that is to make education accessible, education leading to jobs. So our goal is to make sure that we train students on the skills and jobs needed by employers, and we place students in the workforce.
I love it. And so, okay, so you do stuff training, so educational stuff, from what grades to what from what to what? Is it from middle school through college? Is there master's degrees, or what? Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's not middle school or high school, so it's post-secondary. That would be after high school. So it would be like associate's level, bachelor's and master's degrees. We train mostly adults from the age of 18. We do have a lot of school dropouts, but so you don't necessarily need a high school diploma, but since it's very career oriented, our goal is to make sure that you have the skills to be employed. So at the end, our goal is for you to find a job, and to find a job, usually, employers require, to be at age of 18. So that's why we focus on adults.
That's awesome. Because I mean, I see so many. We interview a lot of people, we hire a lot of people in our businesses, and see so many people with degrees that really don't matter for our business. So the skills that we need them to have, we often have to train them for them. Or maybe they receive some of the training in a job at one point, right? But
Yep.
we hire everything from people with no educations like myself that just have a high school diploma, all the
Yep.
way through people that have doctorates in engineering and all that, right? So we hire at all different levels through our businesses, and we still, as we're hiring new people, younger people, very often they're applying for positions that they seem like they might have the right passion for, but their
Right.
education is not even close to matching what their passion is, right?
Yep.
So for you guys to be able to build programs that get young people ready for the business world is so important. And I also feel that a lot of businesses like my own, our leaders, don't necessarily look at that diploma as important as many people do. We're interviewing for, really the, basic skills, that will relate in customer service and servant mentality to our customers. That's unmatched, right? So it's the soft skills that we look for on top of hopefully the passion for the business, and then the diploma kind of comes after all that. So when
That's
I look
right.
at when you look at you guys are doing, I mean, can a kid that's got a let's just say a kid's got a political science degree, and yet they feel that they find out politics isn't where what they want to be, and they want to be in business, they want to be an engineer. Can you guys train for skills without the diploma, where it's
Yep.
not it's not a formal diploma, but they have the skills?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're all about skills. That's kind of the core of our pedagogy, if you will, of our programs. So we train on skills in high demand. So we start from employers' needs in terms of the jobs and the skills, and then we build curriculum based on that. And then we still try and map them into like college credits and degrees, because even though I agree with you, like skills should be, the number one criteria to be hired or not hired, plus, soft skills, motivation, and so on. The reality of the job market is a little bit more complicated, I would say, and you still have a lot of job offers on the market that require a degree, and that might not really be like relevant, but this is what the employer is looking for at the moment.
Sure.
So that's, obviously part of the narrative that we're building is also like, can we change that and focus on skills really? But in the meantime, we also need to build the confidence and trust in the training and the skills that we bring to the job marketplace. There is still like degrees are a proxy in a way to demonstrate that this talent might have those skills. The problem is this
Sure.
proxy starts to be a little bit like rigged. But it's still required in many cases. So we're trying to bridge the two gaps. Really, it's like
It.
focus first on employers' needs and skills, but yet at the same time, can we prove that we're doing that so well that it's still like worthy of college credits and degrees if needed?
I love it. I love it. Okay, when you think of the soft skills, and I say this, we maybe it's me more than many, but I feel like a lot of our leaders, when they hire, they really look for emotional intelligence. Does a person connect with them and the people around them in the interview? Is it a
Yeah.
person that will connect and to the team and live within the culture that we have within our team, right? So I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of stuff are soft skills. Is there any education you guys provide on that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really part of the process. Like for us, the way you learn on open classrooms is very like project driven. So it's very practical. That means that you're gonna work with older students with your mentor. So you'll work on case studies. So you want to become an accountant, you'll have to build a balance sheet or P&L. You want to become a software developer, you have to build a mobile app on your iPhone, et cetera, et cetera. So it's very practical. You have online courses to gain the skills you need. And then you'll be assessed on your skills, on the new skills you're gaining when you complete your projects and they found your work in front of an assessor. That creates kind of a portfolio of what you build. And you
So
can show that to employers. So we're all about skills, and skills can be technical skills, but they can also be soft skills. Like I can collaborate within a team. I can present my work. I can talk. I can write, et cetera, et cetera. And those are skills that are definitely assessed by our mentors and assessors. And you need to validate everyone's skill until you complete the program and you get certified or you graduate and then move into your job.
okay, so let's say what educations were you guys strong in? Let's say um 5 years ago, and then
Yeah.
nowadays, today, where have you gone with that? In other words,
Yep.
what were your niches or your strengths 5 years ago, and then where are you guys at now, and where might you be in 5 years?
So we did a lot of technology jobs, IT jobs like coding, data, cybersecurity, digital marketing, etc. So that's definitely our bread and butter. And then we started expanding into other jobs. I mentioned like accounting, HR, sales, retail, management. So a lot of jobs that I would say exist in any company, any business will need sales, accountants, and HR people, more or less. So there is that. And then we started expanding in other big categories of jobs in high demand. So like supply chain jobs, we're starting going into manufacturing. And in the next 5 years, actually probably sooner than that, because next year we're going to start launching new jobs in healthcare and energy jobs. So those are like some of the really, the jobs or the categories of jobs with a really high imbalance between the supply and demand.
Awesome. Okay, so when we think about that, I mean, isn't this something? So we really like hiring people that we can bring in and mold into, if they're passionate about serving our customers, right? If they love the industry we're in, we want to educate them all we can. And so we educate on all different things, engineering and accounting, and we get, people get their MBAs through our business and stuff. And they do some in class, some online in the last 5 years, let's say. I'm not sure, who we use and what they've used, right? Is your business built for large, for businesses, small and large, to be able to use as an education tool?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we work with large Fortune 500 companies. Like we run training programs for their employees, upskilling and reskilling programs. And we also build what we call apprenticeship programs. So it's a work and study program, for somebody who doesn't necessarily have the skills right now, but, probably has the right mindset, the motivation and so on, wants to learn the ropes. So what we do is, the company will hire them. They'll be paid, and on the job we'll train them for 12 months. So it's an apprenticeship, as there are, apprenticeships in carpentry or truck drivers and so on. But we do that also for non-traditional jobs like data science. So you could become a data scientist through an apprenticeship program. And we offer that to employers and candidates. So really a work and study program. It's usually 12 months long, 4 days a week on the job, 1 day a week. You're being trained by OpenClassrooms through projects, online courses, one-on-one mentorship, et cetera, et cetera. At the end of this 12 months long program, you're certified and you'll move into a permanent role as a data scientist, in my example.
Awesome. We've got to talk after this, because I've got a bunch of opportunities where all the things you mentioned. I mean, we've got a technology company that are hiring and training in all different language, AI and machine learning and stuff. And then we've got, of course, we're in the paving business. So we've got truck drivers, we've got laborers, we've got finishers, we've got heavy equipment operators, all these things, right? And probably some of these trades, I'm guessing you're not in yet, but boy, it's invaluable. In my opinion, it's invaluable in our country for our country's future, to be able to understand the skills jobs like carpentry and truck driving and what we have, operating equipment and even laboring. Okay. These jobs pay huge. When I say huge, we pay people to operate equipment and work in the field, building parking lots, concrete and asphalt work. We pay them basically similar to what you're going to pay a controller or a accountant with a CPA after their degree. We're paying this labor force more than we'd pay those people, right? And so it's no longer, you're going to make a little more than minimum wage and you're going to work your butt off and you're going to sweat like a dog, right? That's not the case anymore. You actually, these jobs we're using technology. The jobs are much more, I would say, easier on your body. And we use 3D technology and great electronics and GPS to do a lot of the work we're doing. So again, the trades are so different, but yet still in our high schools, in my opinion, and colleges, we're not teaching kids that there's this vast amount of opportunity of doing this type of work. So I would love to go further with you to find out, is there a way, we can actually expose the opportunities in skilled jobs like this? Because because there's such a need right now, and I think there will be for the long haul. You make more money doing this stuff than you do working as an accountant or anything else right now. So I think it's going to continue.
Yeah, right. No, you're definitely right. I'd say we already cover like any sorts of like technology jobs, so that would be an easy one. Regarding more like trade jobs, the trick is since we train online, obviously it's pretty easy to teach coding online on a laptop. It's a
Yeah,
little bit harder to do, paving or carpentry or anything like that. There is a part that can be done online because you need to learn, some like theory in a way.
yeah.
But we're building the product so we can actually teach those trades online, notably through apprenticeship, because at some point you'll need access to like kind of the real world and like machineries and so on. Through
Sure.
apprenticeship, we can do that. So we're building up that capacity.
So any time in the future, if you want to partner in either world, I mean, you play people in the technology world that want your partnership. I know, and we could use your services for that for sure. We're going to hire 60 to 80 people in our technology company in the next 8 months, 10 months, right? So we have to train a lot of people in technology and fast. And it's basically technology. Again, it's machine learning, it's artificial intelligence, so it's computer engineering, and then it's a lot of project management and stuff like that as well. That, my
Yep.
opinion, is all easily trained online.
Sorry.
Okay, but when I think about the skilled side of things, the construction side of things, the need is massive. In my opinion, it's going to be more massive as we've for years have told our kids in high schools, they don't want to do that kind of work. It's too dirty, right? That's hard work. You don't want to do that hard work. Well, now because we've told our kids that for so long, not a lot of people that are in our world that are they're accessible anymore. So
Yep.
I believe that if you want to ever build something in that space and you want partners to do that with, we'd be a perfect partner. And I can give you many other partners that I'm friends with that are innovative companies in construction that you would love to partner with to build this. So anything you do in the future, I'm there for you. Um,
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's really great. Yeah, we still need to build a little bit more of the product, but at some point, definitely we'll get ready for that.
yeah. Okay. So when we think about the future of where you're going, I mean, we think of okay, let's look at the cost first. We think of the
Yeah.
future and where the cost of education is today, where it's going tomorrow. We think of the cost of educating this way for a degree in marketing or accounting or whatever. Give us some comparisons, what you would expect or what we would expect.
Yeah. So to give you a sense, like an associate's degree with OpenClassrooms would cost like $10,000 to $15,000, all inclusive. And it's usually paid actually by the employer through this apprenticeship program. So the cost to the person is zero and is debt free, and they're actually getting paid because they're actually working for this employer. For the employer, obviously, the cost of hiring the wrong person or hiring somebody and then having to train them for months is actually higher than this. So it kind of makes sense to do that. But yeah, it's a fraction of average cost of a college in America right now, with better alignments to employers' needs and better career outcomes.
So $10,000 to $15,000 for what type of degree is that?
Associate's degree for to become, for example, an IT support technician.
And in comparison to if you said I'm going to go to a state college and get that same degree.
It varies, but I would say on average, same degree would probably cost closer to like $30K minimum.
Yep. And can this be accelerated and done in 2 years or let's say a year instead of two or two instead of four?
Yeah, I mean, with this job, it's a good example because from day one with OpenClassrooms, you'll probably get paid around $20 to $25 an hour while you're getting trained, and your tuition fees are covered. Then a few years later, your salary depends where you live, but could get to 60, 70, 80K. That's an entry level position. We have other jobs where I've got examples of students with us at the age of 18 who were hired by some large employers, very prestigious employers at the age of 19, and now making six figures now. So, I mean, it's pretty good return over investment, I would say, since also they didn't pay anything.
That's awesome. I love it. I mean, you're changing the world of education. And, we, like, as we said, with our businesses, as we've grown larger, we love, investing in our teammates to get educated, whether it's accounting, engineering, project management, whatever it is, right? If they didn't have a college degree and they want it, we want to help them get it. And in many cases, like for technology, you just need to continually educate. You have no choice, right?
Absolutely. It keeps changing now with AI and ChatGPT. I mean, you need to be on your toes.
You got to be on your toes, and especially when you're in an AI business, right? Our business is an AI machine learning business, and it's growing super fast. So we got to constantly be on our toes. So with that, I'm excited to go to look at this further and really introduce your team to my team, because the opportunity is incredible for individuals. As you said, we've got a lot of people that with no college education love technology, and our team is taking a long time to train them, and they don't mind, right? But now we have to scale faster. So if you guys can serve that niche, man, that's incredible. And to think of the opportunities you're giving people that wouldn't have it otherwise, right? For us to be able to hire in any business, to be able to hire the right people culturally, right? A person that meets the core values of that business model and that business, and then train and educate. And that's the best, in my opinion, that's the best way to do it. We have found that the loyalty is way stronger.
Absolutely.
Our teammates are I mean, we've got amazing teams across our 15 businesses, but very loyal. And they're I think they're loyal because we care about them, we invest in them, and they in turn invest in us, right?
Yep.
So I think your model is just awesome. And I really, I can't wait to see it where it goes in the future.
Thank you.
When you look at your position now, I mean, and at Open Class Rooms, when you look at you as a CEO there, a lot of times, Pierre, when we grow businesses from small to large, myself included, right? You're not always the right person to get it to that, $1 billion value or that whatever that big goal is, right? What are your thoughts? You're a young guy at 35 years old. How are you going to continually be on top of your game? So, and your board knows, and your team knows that, man, Pierre is the best. Pierre's going to get us to $1 billion. Pierre's going to get us that $5 billion value, right? Or do you somehow realize that you're going to you're going to get this company to a certain point, and then you're going to become a chair and bring the CEO in with the skills that you need to have, that Open Classrooms has to have, right?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that, your thoughts there.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, we've been through quite a few hoops and challenges, I would say. So every time I felt like we needed to reinvent the company, and really reinvented, like we changed the brand, the product, business model, to get into like this next stage of growth. And every time it was also, I felt like related to my own skill sets. So I needed to learn like a new set of skills that I didn't have. And that's also why the company was kind of plateauing, if you will, and needed a challenge. So, so far, I felt like I've been able to do that several times now. It would be pretty pretentious to say that, oh, in the next 25 years, I'll always be like the best person to do that. I certainly intend to and try to, learn the new skills I'll need and adapt to new trends and AI and so on and so forth. So I do myself like a lot of like training and coaching and trying to like develop those new skills. But it is a challenge, and I still need to run a business and not be in training like all the time. So you need to kind of demonstrate that you're the right to build the next big thing, right? In terms of the product, in terms of the next big contracts, the next big hires, fundraising. So I've had my own successes, but what got me here is not necessarily what will be required for the next stages. And I need to reinvent myself all the time.
what I found, was as challenges arise and you have, challenges in serving your customers, or you have an opportunity to serve your customer in a new way, new business ideas come about as well, right? And so, for me, moving to a chairman role, like 4 or 5 years ago, whatever it was now, gave me the opportunity to really spend the time to invest in new ideas and start new businesses potentially too, and be able to mentor new CEOs coming in, and that's something you're going to have a ton of different opportunities, in my opinion, to spin out new brands, or whether it be brands off your existing model, or new businesses to serve customers, the same customers. And so when those come about, right, you're going to see that you're going to have a challenge. It's going to be, okay, do I go off and run one of these things and replace myself as a CEO? Or do I just invest in another CEO to run that new thing? But it's kind of fun when you're as young as you are to gain the wisdom you're going to be gaining. You're going to have so many opportunities to say, man, you know what? I love this role you're in, but boy, you could do this 5 more times with 5 new CEOs and be their mentors. At 40 years old, 45 years old, you'd be mentoring 5, 6 CEOs to be building, one new model after another, as you realize there's ways to serve those customers, better and better and better in different niches, right? So again, you're going to have so much opportunity ahead of you. You just, I would never expect you to have the answer of, yep, I'm going to be in this business till I'm 60, and I'm going to continue to reinvent myself because I'm the best person for the job, right?
Yeah.
You just don't know. And if
you don't know. You can't say that. No.
Do you have a solid board that you have?
Yeah, really good. Actually, we've got several investors, but also long-standing entrepreneurs and CEOs in education and workforce development. So they've been super helpful to me and to the business, and very supportive through, the high highs and the low lows. So very, very well surrounded at this chance.
And then don't you think that's so important? I mean, think about Pierre, right? Without those board members who are in it with you, right? It's tough. I mean, you can call them people, you can call them friends. You're in YPO like I am, and Austin is, and a couple of our other leaders are in YPO, and that's a great group, right? But it's hard to replace a board that is out for your best interest because they're invested in some stock or whatever, right? And so I believe in boards, and I dragged my butt for a long time in building boards, but I finally did, maybe 6, 7 years ago, built our first board, and I filled it with people that I knew would call BS to me or any of my leaders, right? They have no problem. They didn't have to have the job of a board member, right? They're just highly respected people that we knew could bring value. And I guess I get to this. If I look back, I wish I would have started a board when I was a $2 million company, right? When I was when I was a new company and I was 25 years old, I should have had a board, right? Because you can find friends that are smart as can be, that have different strengths to be your board member, right? And if they care about you, they're going to look out for your best interests along with you. They're going to if they take it as a real responsibility, you can't beat it. And so now we have our main board that actually have a board meeting tomorrow with our main board that oversees all our companies with me, and then my team, and my daughter and my team, and then I've got our technology board that with my son has overseeing that technology company. But it's invaluable to have a board. And I think we oftentimes we just think, we're not big enough for a board. We don't need a board. But my opinion, if you can build the right board early, I got to believe it's a huge advantage.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think I did that a few years ago. I felt really lucky to have done that very early in my own entrepreneurial journey. As you said, like many entrepreneurs and CEOs kind of overlook that, but it's been very helpful. It is hard to build a very good board, and sometimes I'm also dragging my feet, but it's been invaluable. So I certainly don't regret it, and definitely recommend other entrepreneurs and CEOs do the same.
Yeah, I think, like I said, a lot of us don't think about it enough. And then what about their YPO experience? Do you believe in that in growing a vast network like YPO, growing in a network like YPO, has it been advantageous to you? And what are your thoughts there?
It's been, I've been very good at networking, and it's been, I think, a huge asset in building the company, meeting new people, employers, talent as well that hired. And I certainly did all of that with YPO. So I created really long-standing relationships. And sometimes, you build a relationship that doesn't really generate anything in the short term, then it's 3 years later they become one of your like largest clients, or you hire them, and that's amazing. So I'm really a big fan of that, building really long-term relationships, and so many years later sometimes you know they thrive, and then you see the value of all of the efforts you put in the first place. So.
Absolutely. And I found the same thing. I can't believe the relationships I have across the globe with people that I just wanted to meet, right? I just thought, I
Yeah.
found out there, whether it's at a globe, like a convention across the globe or nationally, right? You can seek out to really meet anybody you want in YPO. And so there's other organizations like that, right? But I got to believe that, it's so important that to find something like that you love, that you can be part of it. It meets the culture that you want in leadership, right? To belong to. Because when you have 30,000 CEOs across the globe, and you can call on them pretty much at any time if you want to.
Yep.
I mean, if a YPO or anywhere in the world calls me, I'm going to return their call. And,
Yep.
and if I can help them, I'm going to help them. And I think that's the culture of YPO.
Absolutely.
And again, so how do you beat that, right? That's the best network you can have. Matter of fact, I want to introduce you to my son, because you and my son are gonna have a lot in common. He's a couple years older than you. He's he's a really good guy. Anyway, he's building this technology company, and he's really creating another product that nobody else in the world has ever had, that is changing the world of property management and property assessment across the globe. So fun product anyway. And by the
Cool.
way, no doubt in my mind, he and we could use you and your business in training faster, teaching faster, and stuff. So we're gonna have we're gonna have a great relationship there, in my opinion. But
That
when
sounds
you
great.
yeah, so when you think about your like core values, Pierre, I mean, do you as you build a business, and when you're very young in business, you just think, hey, I'm going to hire good people, and values are just going to
Yep.
come. And as you get a little bigger and bigger, you get to 100 employees, 200, 300, right, 500. As you grow, you're gonna have some type of moral compass, or like some type
Yep.
of value compass, right? That you
Yep.
can grow by. It gets to be tough because you're gonna have all different people that maybe might not live your values, and you can't have that if you're growing a strong brand like you do. So what do you do about that?
Yeah, we built that value system when we were probably around 50 employees or 70 employees, around that. And we built them around 4 principles that really came from our own value system, I would say, as like founders, right? Because it's usually very connected if you want that to be real. So we define this as: we care, we persist, we dare, and we tell it as it is. So there is the notion of like transparency, honesty, innovation, and courage. Resilience for us has been a very strong one, because it's been so many years, and sometimes it was hard, and we had like huge challenges, and daring without persisting, to me, is like, oh yeah, you tried once and it didn't work, cool. But no, you have to try like second time, third time, and then maybe 7 times later it starts working, and you build something very valuable, because everybody else has given up in the meantime. So I think, yeah, resilience was definitely a very strong value. And caring is really a notion of like respect, but also caring about the business, and like accountability, and like being responsible, owning your goals and performance, and that kind of stuff. So yeah, those 4 like very simple values have been really, really strong for us. And our employees actually use them every day in their decision-making process. They say, oh, I'm going to do this because of their value B, like because we persist. So it's really amazing to see that in everyday's life in the business. This is how we hire. This is how we promote. And yeah, it works really well for many years for us.
I love it. And this is how you fire too. Unfortunately, again, so
Yeah,
sometimes you have to
absolutely.
fire.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, it, and
Sometimes people are not being honest. Sometimes they don't care about anything. Sometimes they, and then we have that tough conversation because, we did have like brilliant jerks, really smart people and very successful in their job, but they didn't really have the right values, for our organization. And we parted ways. And I think it's part of, what you learn building a business. It's not just about the performance; it's also about the values.
absolutely, absolutely. And again, when your team is using it every day, I love what you said. Your team uses every day, right? These
Yeah.
values, and you can. And if you do, you get it. If you do, and somebody's not respecting somebody else, everybody gets it, right? So that person just isn't going to last in that culture. You don't have to be, you and your leadership team don't have to be the ones that make the tough decisions in many cases, because your team, your leaders in your company will make those decisions before you. And I think it's so important, right? That we lead by core values that we know are what our customers want, and what builds a great culture for our teammates to live within, right? And be proud of. So you get it, man. I didn't have my core values dialed in until I was probably 6 or 8 years older than you. And I probably didn't live by them that well until I was probably 12, 13 years ago, right? When I was in my late 40s. And if you as the leader doesn't like, really use those and live by those, then why have them, right? It has to come, it has to be every level of the organization has to live by them. And it's awesome that you already realize that as the young leader that you are. It's really cool. Um, so where do you see this thing? Let's say 5 years from now, 10 years from now, whether you use revenues or use value or use employees, where do you see this amazing business going?
So for us, North Star, we define it as kind of a metric measuring our mission. The mission of the company is to make education accessible. And the way we track it is through the number of students we place in the workforce. That's our North Star. So last year we placed 52,000 people in the workforce.
Wait, what? Holy
52,000.
moly.
Yeah.
52,000.
Yes.
Unreal.
So this is what we do, and we have this like big dream of one day, maybe it's gonna take 5 years, maybe it's gonna take 10 years to place 1 million students in the workforce every year.
You're going to get there in 5 years. Come on. Don't get yourself, don't shoot low.
Exactly,
Wow.
right?
That'll be so cool. All right, wait, that'll be, and you think, in a year, potentially 1 million per year within 5 to 10 years. But realistically, if you're thinking 5 to 10, dude, you're going to get there in five. You're, that's a layup for you. Are you kidding? You and your team?
We're definitely working hard to get there in as few years as possible. And now with technology and AI, and we have access to many more tools to scale that product and model much faster. So it's really exciting times actually to have access to this technology that we didn't have access to like 5 years ago. And now we're like, oh, actually we can do that at a fairly low cost, in a way that works really well, that is highly personalized. So yeah, definitely exciting times.
Okay, so tell us about I mean, I would call it the education mafia that's just me, right? But tell me about potentially the pressure of the industry, right? The industry, and what and they don't, I can't imagine they like you or want you. If I'm a college charging, 80, 90,000 a year, or even a state college, right? I don't think I like you, dude. I mean, tell me about that. You get any pressure there?
So we try to walk with them, not directly compete. You're right. I mean, the industry, higher education, colleges, universities, it's a pretty strong lobby. So we we took this down and strategy to really like build partnerships with them. So we actually work with very like local community colleges and four-year universities to try and help them bridge the gap between their curriculum, their programs, and local employers' needs, because we have the curriculum that they need. And this way we can work together and place more of their students into the workforce. So it's been fairly successful. Sometimes it's more complicated than others. But yeah, we try to also kind of have it down into the system to also change the system. The system's so big, and you still have already like thousands and thousands of students in higher education right now. So what if the system would improve a little bit towards, careers and job placement and employers' needs? That would be very impactful. And at the same time, we're building our own thing. So I think, doing that kind of from the outside and also trying to walk within the system is, it's something that we've been trying to do. Yeah.
So and again, I'm guessing that many leaders in the education system embrace what you're doing, and I'm sure there's plenty that don't. Right? There's plenty of people in my industry that are very short-sighted that don't like what we're doing.
Yeah.
If everybody loves what you're doing, actually, Pierre, in my opinion, you're just not making a big difference, dude.
You're right. I think you're right. Yeah. You cannot please everyone for sure. And yeah, we definitely have, other leaders in the industry, like loving what we do and willing to partner with us. And some people are in a higher education also, don't really think that higher education should be like so career oriented, and it should be like, that's vocational, but like, it should be more like academia and research and so on. And I mean, that's fine. I mean, this is, if this is what you want to do, it's just not what we're building. So there are different opinions out there. But yeah, what we're building for us is like super career oriented, targeted on employers' needs, skills. We're all about that.
I love it. It's so cool what you're doing, and I really enjoy watching. I'm going to really enjoy watching you go forward and still continue to change an industry that I think needs changing so bad. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see it.
There's definitely some work to do.
There's definitely a lot of work to do, but you know what? You're going to do the hard work. And as you do the hard work and run across different challenges, you're going to find more opportunities, not less. You're going to continue to discover more opportunities to serve better. And I think, I think that's what we do. I'm a strong Catholic Christian, and I believe our success in our businesses are really due to the fact that we don't want to make money, right? We need to create enterprise value so that everybody wins. But overall, we just want to serve our customers better than anybody else in the world. I believe if that's your mentality, and I know it is with you, you're going to win because you're just trying to serve your customers better than anybody else in the world. And when you do that, I believe, that's what God wants, in my opinion. Right. So, you're going to continue to serve better than anybody else and create an environment that you just can't replace. So I'm excited. Chris, what do you get out of this sharp young man? What you've I'm sure you've gone, your brain's going nuts over there, but what kind of nuggets, what type of nuggets have you seen there of success that if all of us think a little more about, it'll help us out?
Absolutely. Pierre, when you shared that you placed, I think you said 52,000 graduates in jobs.
Yep.
Man, I got chills. That's absolutely incredible, man. Thank you for doing that. That's like, you've literally turned college like on its head. It seems most colleges, all they care about is enrollment, and what you do after you graduate or don't graduate, they don't care. They just want your money. And you guys, your actual measuring stick is like job placement. That's incredible. So kudos to that. Thank you for doing that. I feel like saying thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Hey, Chris, let me interrupt there one time. I mean, and I believe that, I meet all these thousands of kids in Turning Point USA that are just passionate about the, America and entrepreneurship and the American dream. Man, I got to believe there's so many of those kids that would love your form of education, whether they're just in junior college and going further, or they're in a 4-year degree and they want to go further into something else. I mean, there's got to be so many of those kids to be like, if they've experienced kind of not the perfect experience in college because of whatever messaging they're getting. And I know that's a lot of the TPUSA kids, right? Well, this is a great option for them to say, you know what, I did my 2 years in junior college, I did my 4 years in my undergrad, and now I'm gonna do something I really want, and I'm gonna invest, or I'm gonna get my employer to invest in, OpenClassrooms, and I feel like that's a huge market. I want to connect you to Charlie Kirk or his team, to explore something there. Because have you spoken in front of them at all, Turning Point USA? Man, I got to believe your message would be incredible there. And Charlie's got a message that I'm actually not even for that much lately. And he's really, basically saying the college education is a waste, right? And I don't think that's the case. But Charlie's really, really upset about what's gone on in college campuses, right? So it feels like, your message, well, your business and his message could play well together. So I'd love to introduce you to him as well.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Gary.
Chris,
Yeah.
what else you got there, buddy? Sorry about that.
Yeah. No, that's great, Gary. Here, I'm really curious, obviously with all the LLMs on the market, I use Chat GPT not by the day, but by the hour. Are, with this kind of potential AI mass job disruption or even destruction on the horizon, are there certain degrees or tracks that you all recommend over others?
That's a good question. I'd say, first of all, I definitely think you need to be trained on ChatGPT and like Gen AI and try and use it like you do every day. Doesn't really matter what your job would look like, but it's very likely that if you use it in your daily job, you'll be more productive. And I can tell you that any employer will like a more productive employee. And at some point, if you don't use that, then somebody else will use it and be more productive than you are. And then essentially you'll be less employable. So that's why we train every one of our students on Gen AI and ChatGPT and kind of basic like prompt engineering. So we want them to really use ChatGPT like every day, like you do. So if you're like in marketing, you want to generate your next social media marketing campaign using ChatGPT. If you are in HR, you write your job desk and so on and so forth. So it's really important. Um, I, s- I think obviously there's a ton of opportunity around AI itself, like as a job. So like data science and AI engineers and so on. But I do think that the larger opportunity is in any jobs. Like I said, you'll use AI in every single job in every single industry. To me, it's a tool, right? Now you have a computer and access to the internet and smartphone. AI is another tool that will multiply your productivity. If you were just using paper and pen for all of your work and that you do every week right now versus somebody else that uses a laptop and internet and printer, you'll be really inefficient and you'll get fired pretty quickly, right? It's the same. So, you really need to get onto those skills, and get trained and practice more and more. It's really amazing. Like myself, I think I'm probably like 30-40% more productive since I use like Gen AI, on a daily basis. So I would highly encourage you to do that.
Awesome. Awesome. And, you know, some of my clients, that I work with, they sell franchises, and the top buyer of franchises today is Gen Y because the cost of college has become so insanely high that they're
Yeah.
like, why am I paying for this generic college degree when I could buy a franchise and be making six figures within 2 years? What is your perspective? What's your perception of the current state of the college industrial complex?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. I mean, if you're 18 and in front of you, you've got the opportunity of going to college and ending up with $150,000 in debt, um, and maybe get a job and be paid like 40K in 4 years, then maybe it doesn't really make a lot of sense for you, right? Obviously not every college was created equal, and some of them, can be much more accessible, and you can have access sometimes, in-state tuitions could be much slower, and then maybe you get a good job at the end. That could make sense. So I don't think, it's kind of a one size fits all, but definitely right now, compared to many years ago where I would say like the cost versus benefit was very much in favor for most. Um, I don't think that's the case right now. And that's why actually people like take decisions that are different, and like, I'm not going to go to college because it's too costly. And that would not actually create a lot of value add for my career because I could already walk, or buy a franchise or walk in trades and make actually a lot of money this way right now. So that could make sense. Um, but yeah, I think there is a way to build education that is more accessible, financially accessible, so you don't end up with like 100K of student debt because that's ridiculous. And that's more aligned to employers' needs. And then, at the end of the day, that's your own choice. If you do want to pay 150K and like earn a degree, that's your right. If you prefer to go straight into a trade job, because that's what you want, you should do that. But what we're trying at Open Classrooms is to create more opportunities, really more options, for people to choose from.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. And yeah, my final takeaways, start a business in middle school. That's that's true. What's
Yeah,
up?
it's been some time. Yeah, more than 20 years now.
Yeah. If you're the only one in the market, it could mean there is no market. That,
Yeah,
that's
That's such a good point, right? Oftentimes we think, oh man, we've got innovation that's going to change the world, right? But yet nobody else has that idea.
yeah,
It sounds like a good thing, and with a lot of work, it could be, right?
could
But
be.
and then somebody else comes in the market to do the same thing because they see what you're doing, right?
Mm,
And you're kind of like, oh dang it, they're following us, they're copying us, right? We should be more like, a good thing they're copying us because now the word will go strong, the word will
Yeah,
grow stronger, the message will be stronger. People will understand it's a real business, right? Now
absolutely.
there's 10 people that do that in the industry, let's say, right? Well, gosh, there's 10 businesses out there spreading the word. As long as you're the best of those and you continue to strive to be, that's all good, right? If you're not going to continue to get better, it's a problem. But if you're going to continue to strive to be the best in the world, what you do, no problem, man. You want all the competition you can get because you're gonna kick butt, especially in a new industry like yours or some of the stuff we're involved in. So that's really cool. When we think about your education, what was your education after that middle school that you kind of were playing with this hobby, and where'd you go on from there in high school, college?
I went to high school and then college, and I did a bachelor's in engineering, then a master's also in engineering and telecommunications. I didn't really use that degree, to be honest with you, because I built my business during those studies. And at the end, I just moving on to like building my business full time. So I'm an engineer by training, but I'm not really an engineer in my daily job. But it was also useful for me. Like I learned a lot of like technical skills and also some, soft skills and some of the, core values that we talked about. So it was useful, to me, but yeah, I did both, like build the business and study at the same time. So it was a fun
Wow.
experience.
Okay, so Chris, I haven't told you this yet, but I started a pack now, the American Dream Pack, and the American Dream Pack is just going to be out there, supporting great causes across America that protects the American dream. And Pierre, I'm not sure if if you have a lot of regulatory environment, a lot of stuff in the regulatory world you have to think about and understand, but my businesses, all of them do, right? And so what I've seen over the course of my 43 years in business is, regulations that came about that were meaningful, that were important, and then eventually regulations that came about that were kind of crazy. And today regulations in a regulatory environment that's built, that's its own animal now, right? And in many cases, ruining small business and ruining the ability to be, who you are, an entrepreneur, an innovator. So my goal is just to continue to battle and fight bad regulation that hurts small business, as well as support things that ruin our schools and environments like this in the city of Chicago or anywhere in the country where we have bad schools because of crazy unions and stuff. We're going to continue to fight for the American dream. But as I think about this, I look at my own career and how blessed I am to be part of it. What's your thoughts of that? Coming from France into America, tell me about if you feel the difference here, if you feel that there's a reason you're here, and this American dream is a real thing, or is it BS, right?
I mean, it's very different, two different cultures, obviously, but the U.S. market is a huge market, so there are huge opportunities. I think here, bigger opportunities than anywhere else in the world. So that's not really by chance that so many entrepreneurs come and build companies here. There's a reason for that. I'm in New York City. This city also has like this hustling energy that is very unique to it, and you've got many people who come and try to make a name of themselves in different industries and sectors, and can be, in art, or it can be in business, can be in tech. I love that. So that's really kind of inspiring to see that. And yeah, there are also great businesses in Europe. I would say, opportunities are generally speaking like bigger in the US. So, I was curious to give it a try.
All right, so you feel the difference in America though, as far as that, that you came here for an opportunity, for the opportunity to grow, right? So again, American dream, is it real or is it fake? Come on, just bluntly.
I do think it's real. I still see like many people like make it in America, from various parts of the world. I don't think it's as accessible to everyone right now compared to like years ago. But yeah, there is definitely a magnet that brings people to this country in terms of the size of the U.S. market, the opportunities. So it's exciting for many people to come here.
So you said something that I really appreciate. It's not as accessible as it once was, and we need to make sure that we maintain that accessibility, so that innovative minds like yours, right, and those that we know are creative minds that are creating a better environment, a better place for these industries, right? Prosper and survive. So I love what you're doing. You're challenging a whole industry, and you're doing a great job of it. You're kicking butt. You've got a real business that's creating crazy opportunity for 52,000 people a year. I don't think we mentioned it. Forbes 30 under 30. That's pretty cool to be a Forbes 30 under 30 person. Any other accolades that you and your partner received for building this awesome business?
Yeah, many awards like fastest, growing company, things like that. And awards are one thing, but at the end of the day, like what we truly care about is, what our shares like students we place in the workforce, and all of those like individual stories of people having their life challenged. So awards are nice, but I think there is more to business than
the real stories are the best, right? The real stories are the best. And I just got to finish up with, hey, I love everything about what you're doing. Your American success story, and it's going to be a global success story. So it's going to be so fun to watch. But I mean, your values, like, are simple. We care, we persist, we dare, and we tell it like it is, right? I mean, care, in my opinion, like you said, means respect. Persisting means resilience, right? If you have resiliency, you're going to get through all the toughest times. When you talk about dare, I look at that as innovation, right? You're going to constantly dare your team to serve your customers better. Your customers are going to constantly say, and your teammates say, what's next? What's next? And you're going to dare to be different and better. That's cool as can be. And then, we tell it like it is. I mean, transparency is such a huge thing in our businesses. And if our customers know that we're transparent, man, they can throw any challenge at you, and you can build anything with those customers. So, I love your values, and love your story. You're gonna do some amazing things. I really appreciate you. We're gonna connect after if we can, and I would love for you to meet Austin, and then as well as our CTO who's got a big challenge in front of her as she grows this massive technology business we're growing. So.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah.
Pierre, thank you. Great. Thank you so much for being on Ditch Digger CEO today. And your story is one that so many are going to learn from. And really appreciate you being on board, and appreciate you being in America as well. So
Thanks for that.
Thanks for all you do. Keep on going and keep kicking butt, brother. So until next time, on Ditch Digger CEO, we don't know if we can match Pierre, but we're going to try. We'll try to get another great innovator next time. But we're so appreciative to have on Ditch Digger CEO somebody of Pierre's quality and innovation and entrepreneurship. So thanks, Pierre, and have a great day. Until next time, see ya.
Yeah.